She was trying to hook up is a Swahili name, and it's pronounced Umtuaswa. Umtuaswa. I think that sounds so good. I was given that name back in the early 70s. So it's so good to see all these beautiful faces, and I want to extend my great gratitude to the committee and to Mr. Lester for the invitation. So my invitation for you is to take a deep breath with me. And if you're so inclined, please close your eyes so we can shut the world out and let spirit in. For we know really there is no place where spirit is not. So at this point, we want to honor those who are responsible for us being here. You see, if there is anything we have in common, it is that each and every one of us come from a mother and a father. And a mother and a father and a mother and a father. And a mother and a father and a mother and a father and a mother and a father, far back as we can dare to imagine. So we say, greetings to the ancestors on whose shoulders we stand. So we invite all those ancestors to be here with us, for we know, the great shamans of our culture, who we call quantum physicists, have proven that energy cannot be created and cannot be destroyed. So your ancestors are dead, and they are not gone. So those ancestors in the north, come. Those from the south, come. Those who live in the east, come. Those from that direction we know as the west, come. And those who live farther than any of us will ever be able to see, come. And those who live in the underworld, on whose faces we walk every day, come walk with us and talk with us and make your presence known, so that the work we do here today, the fun we have here today, is done simply in a good way. We know this to be so we're radiating gratitude in all directions. And so it is. Ashe. Ashe. Amen. You understand. So today is a beautiful day. The word I got was we are here to celebrate. Yes, celebrate here in Black History Month. And you know I got to do it so we can start out right. Yes. Well, we're celebrating that which I've been celebrating for many, many decades now, and that is the beauty, the wisdom, and the glory that is Africa. Do understand how your mind has been Tarzaned. Mine too. I was born in Mississippi, Chicago. I'm not from there, though I'm from there. And everybody in this room is from there. You know, they done finally, Nat Geo, and they done finally figured it out. That African continent is the home of humankind. It is the birthplace of language. It is the birthplace of science, of art, of humankind. Now, when I talk about Africa, I want to be clear. We get a tiny glimpse of what we're talking about. Let's just say for conversation, when we speak of Africa, I want you to remember we're speaking of at least 100,000 documentable years, 4,000 languages, 54 countries. Okay? I gotta get okay? Yes. Africa is not a country. It ain't no country. 54 countries. It's like saying the term, with much respect, Native American. Understand there were 500 nations of people. 500 nations of people that walked this land that they call Turtle Island. You should always be able to name at least 10. If I got to walk the talk, Cheyenne, Seminole, Apache, Havasupai, Mohawk. Come on, give me some more. Hopi, Pima, Maricopa, Navajo, Blackfoot, and I gotta name my wife Chumash. So honey, I can go home now. So I am a practitioner of African spirituality from a tiny little country in West Africa called Burkina Faso. It is one of the poorest countries there and is rich beyond your imagination. I remember, I'll digress a second, when I did have the pleasure to go to the motherland in '08 in Liberia, right after the Civil War, and it was fascinating to see. In my Western head, I was lost. I couldn't understand why the people were so happy. They had nothing. Nothing. No things. And yet they were happy. It took me a while to get my head around. I had to get I got to get a handle on it. So I came up with something. I had to get a phrase, and the phrase I came up with was authentic graciousness. It was like what we call Southern hospitality on steroids. And I figured that I have this theory about slavery. That thing we don't want to talk about. That slavery and what happens in the South. When that black footprint hit Jamestown in 1619, kaping! America's never been the same. But though the remnant of that is we call Southern hospitality. He ain't got it in Cali. I love my sister from Connecticut, but it ain't up there either. It's only down there. Also blew my mind that I could be 10 miles outside of Monrovia in a village called Voinjima in western Liberia and pull off the side of the road and eat my mama's oxtail stew. Mind-boggling. So African spirituality is different from most religion as we understand it. There is no codification. There's no written text. It's an oral tradition. You learn from a teacher. You learn from a teacher, like I did, or like other people do. You know, people walk around walking encyclopedias. Based on oral tradition, no codified text, and here's the key that strikes the healthcare piece for me. This is the relationship piece. African spirituality is holistic. I think that's a buzzword for the last decade or now or so. Holistic health. The whole person. Their environment, their society, their family. In African worldview, get ready. There is no separation. We can't get, for us, we go to church or spirituality. That's something you go do, and that's something on Sunday or down the road or some reverend or some other. No. Can you imagine for just a moment or two while we're together what it must feel like to be born into a place where there is no separation? The Cartesian mind that I have, the Cartesian mind that you have, thank God, and I bless that brilliant fellow René Descartes, who created that world as the third leg of Western education that says this is that, and that's that, and this is natural, and that's supernatural, and this is real, and that's unreal, and there's that line. And that line is in my mind. But I've had the honor and pleasure to meet people where that line does not exist. And there's a part of you that know it doesn't exist too. You see, it's in your bones. And that's where the phrase divination comes in. Anybody know when I say divination, what I'm talking about or referring to? Oh, so many. Good. Divination is what your great-great-great-great-great-great-grandmothers and fathers used to do, and I don't care where your people are from. And they still practice it now because I've been blessed to be shared some of that information from a man named Dr. Malodoma Somé, who is from Burkina Faso, but came to the United States and began to share this wisdom and magic stuff. And like I said, I was born in Mississippi and raised on the south side of Chicago, so I basically don't believe nothing. Ain't my fault, it's just raised like that. I used to think I was too sinister to be a minister. I eat too much ham to be an imam. I'm too full of yeast to be a priest. Too frail to find the Holy Grail. But every now and then I can feel it, as I know you can. There's a space between the tick and the tock. And it's in your bones, and divination can bring that out. Okay? So African spirituality at its basic, is this. It's a universal belief in survival. A universal belief in survival and triumph over death and the immortality of the human soul. The immortality of the human soul. So, talk is cheap. People tell you anything. So, I'm going to take a risk, because the spirituality I practice, and my favorite thing when I'm in divination with folks is, I just borrow from Duke Ellington, it don't mean a thing